Good day to our dear panelists and good day to our dear professors. My name is Enkelberto Lim and I'm here to present about the summary of findings, conclusions, and recommendations of our study. So let's begin. So to summarize, the main objective of the study is to provide a game that relieves the boredom experienced by the teenager during the times of the COVID-19 pandemic. So the main idea of this game was constructed during the height of the COVID-19 pandemic, wherein people are forced to stay in their houses because of the quarantine. So to combat that, the researchers created a game that is the researchers are created a game where these people can enjoy and play while in the comfort of their houses. So how can we provide a game that is playable and enjoyable? So first, we must test or we must create a game that is functioning and working as intended. So how does the researchers does this? So to determine the game's overall design and capabilities, the researchers conducted a survey among 19 respondents. Then the game was evaluated in four different criteria. So, to explain it more clearly, the game's element was evaluated in different criteria. So what are these game elements? So these game elements are composed of the game's settings menu, game main menu, the different systems that we implemented in the game, the UI, the enemy design, level design, etc. So each of that game elements was evaluated by these different respondents. So these different criteria are as follows: the layout and design, the user friendliness, functionality, and the efficiency of the project. So overall, the game gathered the following evaluation scores. So the overall game scored a 2.66 in layout and design, 2.61 out of 3 in user friendliness, 2.65 in functionality, 2.69 in efficiency. So the all of these scored are with a verbal interpretation of excellent. So on all of the given criteria, the game scored an average of 2.65. So it means that the game is well received by the respondents or by the users. So almost all of the game's individual elements scored above 2.5 as well. However, the game's menu scored an average of 2.47 in user friendliness, and the game settings has an average score in both of 2.47 in both the user friendliness and functionalities. So even though that the game is well received, there's still some game elements that scored lower compared to others. So based on that following data, the researchers have conducted the researchers have drawn the following conclusions. So the researchers manages to provide the game that is well designed, user-friendly, functioning, and efficient. Then, although the game is well received, like I said, some of the game's elements must be improved further, i.e. the game's menu and settings. Then most importantly, the user's positive reception towards the game determines that it is playable and enjoyable, which satisfies the main objective stated at the study. So, to further improve the quality of the study, the researchers devised the following list of recommendations. So, all of these recommendations are for the improvement of the game, such as the addition of more gameplay mechanics and addition of more gameplay systems, more AI behavior patterns or variations, the improved complexity of level stages and design, custom models and assets to have a better control on the game's art design and aesthetics. So the researchers recommended this because the assets that we use in the game are gathered online. So it is much better to create our own or the game's original assets to have a better control or the better control on the game's design. So improved user friendliness on different game elements, especially on settings and main menu. So again, this was the game elements that scored lower compared to the others, then added the more improved functionality of the game settings. So overall, that was the recommendation devised by the researchers. So that concludes our demonstration about the summary of findings, conclusions, and recommendations of our study. So we highly encourages our dear panelists and our dear professors to add more recommendations for the study to further improve the quality of the study. So thank you so much for listening. And then following sequences po will be the demonstration of our system or our game. So thank you for listening.
Good day to our dear professors, and good day to our dear panelists. My name is Engelberto Lim, and I'm here to demonstrate our project named Kindle. So, this demonstration will focus mainly on the systems or the new systems that we've implemented in the game. So, currently, we're in the main menu screen of the game. It's the same as the main menu screen at the first versions of our game, but we've added more functionality such as a continue button here that is currently disabled, and options, settings, or we can change the game's volume, the full screen, and the graphics. Also have a button here that says delete save file, so we can use that button if we want to delete our current save. So currently we don't have any save yet, so that button doesn't have any functionality. So this continue button is disabled because we don't have any saved yet. And once we save our game and we come back to this main menu screen, this continue button will be activated and we can use this to continue our playthrough. Okay, so let's hit new game and start our demonstration. So we are here in the character selection screen. So the game, also the player can choose between two different characters. So we have a male character that has a sword and a female character who has a staff. So each of these characters has their own unique set of skills and attacks. So this character is a fire type character and this is a water type character. So for this demo, we'll choose this fire type character. So again, this is the story of the game. It's the same story. So for now let's skip in the story and start our gameplay. Okay. So we're in the main levels of the game. So refresher about the UI. So when we view at the top left corner of the screen, we can see a red bar and the green bar, the top left. So the red bar represents the character's current health and the green bar represents the character's stamina. And in the bottom middle of the screen, there's an empty bar. So that bar at the bottom is the experience bar of the character. So that bar is currently empty because we've not killed any enemies yet, and we can see that filling up when we gain experience. So we have here an interactable object. So when our character approaches an interactable object, a pop-up will show at the character's head. So in that case, a question mark. So it means that an object can be interacted by the player. So when we press the E button, it shows a dialog box. So this dialog box will show this text, maybe in form of like this, a tutorial text, a tutorial dialogue, or maybe in a story dialogue. So the sign says movement, press A and D to move left and right. Jumping, press spacebar to jump. So again, a basic dialogue, a tutorial dialogue. So when we press space, we can jump, move left and right. Spikes, beware of spikes. Spikes does a lot of damage. Okay, let's continue. Again, spikes. Here is an example of an obstacle. So when our character step on these spikes, it will deal damage to us. Spikes deals 20% of the character's health. So even if our character has 1,000 health, it will deal 20% of that. Again, 500, it will kill 20%. So our character currently has 50 health and it currently taking 20. So, so 20% of that 50 health. Okay, so let's continue. Dash, press left shift to dash. So improvement to our character's movement. So when we press dash, our character will dash forward. So dashing forward will propel our character forward like that. So this dashing ability is useful for navigating these types of platforms like this one. It's a long platform. Then can also use to dodge enemy skills and attacks. So checkpoints. Several bonfires are present throughout the lands of Alvia. These bonfires will serve as your checkpoints. Okay, so we're so checkpoints are the most important part of a gameplay mechanic. So when we interact with this bonfire, we can see that an animation will play and it will say checkpoint reach. So this checkpoint will mark as a position wherein when our character dies, we will be respawned back at this checkpoint. Even if we save our game, when we continue, we will be revived at the position of this checkpoint. So for example, when we pause our game and press save and exit, we will be forwarded back at the main menu, and we can see that the continue button is now available and can be clicked. It means that we've saved our data. So when we press continue, we will be revived at the checkpoint. Okay, so let's continue again. Let's try dying here. The same as that. So died, and let's hit restart. We will be respawned back at the checkpoint. Okay, so let's continue. Huh, who is that? So that's an example of a dialogue box with with a story dialogue. So we've encountered our first NPC. Hello. Oh, I didn't see you there. So this is the story element or the story part of the game. So this is a conversation between an unknown NPC. You can see at the blue top of the screen, that's the name or the name of the currently speaking in the dialogue. So our player is currently named player. See, so what brings you here? The question mark is the one that our player is talking to. So the NPC. You're currently in the forest of Alvia. The path ahead is dangerous one. It is crawling with hostile forest creatures. Clear them out and I will guide you with your travels. Excellent. By the way, I think I didn't introduce myself properly yet. My name is Kalen. So his name is Kalen. You can see the blue text on that top. So this is the story aspect. So Kalen will has a huge part in the main plot of the game. So Kalen will serve as our guide and we will be encountering Kalen at our adventures in the Alvia. Okay, so let's continue. Platforming and spikes. Level design. Okay. So we've encountered another checkpoint. Again, when we got killed and we save our game, we will be respawn at this position. So combat, Kinam 1, Kinam 2 to cast skills. Skills cost stamina to use. Okay, so highlight against the skills. So attacking, when we press left mouse button, we will initiate our attacking. And we press R1 in the keyboard. And the key num 2 will cast a skill. So every skills costs stamina to use. So again, when we cast that, we can see at the green bar at the top, our stamina is currently decreasing. That. And dashing is also considered as a skill because it costs stamina. Okay, so dashing, casting skills. So yeah. So now let's proceed in our combat. So we have a first enemy here, the mushroom enemy. So every levels will have their own unique enemy types, and enemy models. And some of the enemies will have their own unique enemy or attack patterns or attack types. So this enemy is a melee class. So you can see that the enemy sees us, the enemy will charge at us and hit us. Okay, so let's try to kill this enemy. So take note that when we hit the enemy, there's a flying number on the screen. So that number represents our damage, the character's current damage that we're dealing at this enemy. So currently our character deals 15 damage. And when the enemy hit us, the red number text that floats represents the enemy's current damage. So let's try again. Hit. Again, we get 15 damage. Let's kill this enemy. Okay, so we successfully killed that enemy. And at the bottom, we can see that our bar, at empty bar, we get you can see that the yellow fill starts filling out the bar. It means that we get a necessary XP, or we get an XP when we kill that enemy. So when we press tab at our keyboard, this shows our character's current stats. So currently we're in level 1. We got an experience points of 6. Reflected in that, it's 6. We got a 50 health, we got 15 damage, and we got 100 stamina and no armor. So the functionality of this is to show our current stats. Again, we can see that our enemy drops coins. So there are different types of coins that our character can get. So we have here a copper coin and a silver coin. So each coins have their own value. So copper coins will give a value of 1. Silver coins has a value of 5. Then there's also a much rarer type, which is gold coins. It gives 10. So when we pick this up, you see if another floating text here. Okay, so we get current total of 6 coins. Okay, so enemies drop coins upon death. Use coins to buy weapons and armor in the shop. Press B to open the shop. Okay, so when we press B, our shop window will pop up here. We have different types of weapons here. So a weapon that gives us 10 damage, so it costs 20 coins. 20 damage, 80 coins, so on. When we press this button here, we will be forwarded at our armor shop. So we can also buy different armors. Armor there, 5 armor for 20 coins, etc. Okay. So for the sake of demonstration, I've included a function here that gives us coins when we press a key. So for example, when we press the F1 at my keyboard, we can get 10 coins. You can see that we can get 50 coins, 56. So we can now buy weapons. So currently stated in this UI here, our character only has 15 damage. So let's try buying a sword, level 1. So that costs 20. We currently have 56. Now we currently have 36. And we press tab. Our character now has 25 damage because the character's damage is upgraded by 10 with that upgrade. And you can see that we currently not cannot buy that weapon again because we've already bought it. Okay. So we have here a heart. So every heart can replenish our character's health by 20%. So let's get this heart here. And when we press so this is an example of a chest, another interactable objects. So when we get this, so when we interact with this chest, we can get coins. You can see. So now we get another coins here. Okay. So now these are another type of enemies, the tornado slimes. So these tornado slimes have a unique attack types. So this tornado slime has a attack of that. You can see that the tornado attack. So they are different or unique because they are the only enemies that has that kind of attack. So now let's see what this enemy deals. What's the damage of this enemy? Let's try. Okay. So this enemy deals 3 damage. Now I will show the system, which is the armor system. So currently our player doesn't have any armor, so it has zero armor there. So let's try purchasing an armor which can increase our armor by 5. Okay, so let's buy that. So now we have 5 armor. So we can see that this slime deals 3 damage each. So every time our character or the slime hits our enemy, it deals 3 damage each attack. So currently now that we have 5 armor, we expect that our enemy deals a much less damage than that because it will reduce the enemy because armor will reduce the enemy's damage. Okay, so let's try. So now they only deal the absolute minimum damage, which is 1, because the damage calculation that we've implemented, so the damage system that we've implemented is that the the armor will reduce the enemy's current damage. So for example, when the enemy deals 10 damage and we have 5 armor, the damage calculation now will be uh, 5 damage because 10 damage minus 5 armor is equal to 5 damage. So, and when that damage will, for example, our armor is much more higher than the damage. For example, the enemy has 3 damage, as we can see here. The slime has 3 damage, and we have 5 armor. Uh, we make it so that we got we can get the absolute minimum amount of damage, which is 1. So every so we can get so we cannot get any negative value on that because, for example, we can have 5 armor and our enemy only deals, for example, 3. That the enemy, then 3 minus 5 is a negative value, so we must avoid that negative value because instead of our character uh, getting his health decreased, it will only increase, so it will heal our character. So we set a system in that so that when the damage that we will be receiving is lower than the armor, instead damage the character into 1. So that's the lowest value of damage. Again, let's try that. So we get 1 damage because our character has 5 armor. I hope that is clear. Okay, so now I will be uh, so now I will be presenting the the dying system or the respawning system that we've implemented. So take note that our character has an experience points of 6 and we have a coin value of 25. So we've implemented that. So we've implemented a system that when our character dies, the current value of coins that we have and the current XP we will be decreased by 60% every time we die. I think 60 or 70% when we die. So the purpose of the system is to balance out the game because every time the character dies, the enemy will respawn, and we implemented that so that players will not abuse that respawning system because players can get infinite amounts of coins if that system or if this dying system is not implemented. For example, okay, so let's try dying here. Okay, so we died on them and we only respawn. Our experience points, which is 6 at the earlier, will now be is equal to 2 because uh, we've decreased that by 60%. And our coins, when we have 25 on the earlier, we only now have 8. So it is balanced because when we revive, we can see that this mushroom enemy will show up again, and his drops, or we can again get drops on that. So imagine that we get coins in that 9 and we died, then the dying system is not set, then when we die, when the coins that we get is still 9, then we can kill that enemy, die, respawn, kill that enemy again, die, respawn, until we get a stronger weapon that will become super overpowered in the game. So that's why we implemented that system. Okay, so let's try killing this enemy without dying. Okay, so we can see that our character leveled up. So now our character has a level of 2 and current experience of 34 and 70. So every time a character levels up, we the health of the character will be upgraded. So we have 50 health, 50 starting health and 100 starting stamina. So our character leveled up, our health is upgraded by 10, which is 60 now, and 150 now. Okay, so that's the idea of the character leveling system. Our damage will not be affected on that upgrading system because we can upgrade our damage and armor in the shop, so we can buy different items. Okay, so now we will continue this, and the next part will show the different levels that we've created in the game. So it will show again different types of enemies. We have here, uh, get another coins and goblin. Okay, that's the enemies, gain coins and gain experience. Okay, so now we will be presenting we will be uh, summarizing the different levels that we've applied in the game. Okay, so keep watching.